Well, here's an audio I never thought I'd ever make. Okay, so hi. Um so I'm gonna post this onto my YouTube and then subsequently post this onto my Reddit, because if you didn't already realize, I have a Reddit. And I so for everybody that's on YouTube that have heard my audios that are literally just reposted audios that I created specifically for my Reddit, thank you. I never really got to say thank you before leaving the audio community, and a lot of you, have subscribed to me based solely on my aftercare audio, and that thing blew up. So you have to understand that I was posting Reddits on or audios on my Reddit, and that's how I started doing this. And I obtained a traction, a following, and I built a community and a whole thing. And it was suggested to me that I should probably post, because the amount of subscribers that I was getting to started stagnating. And so it was suggested to me that if I posted some of my audios on YouTube, that it could potentially build my audio or my following on Reddit. So very simply, I just started posting my audios onto YouTube, and they weren't doing anything as I was posting them, and then I just posted enough of them. Obviously, my aftercare audio was one of them, and they weren't getting that many views. It wasn't anything amazing. And so then I stopped doing, I stopped caring about my YouTube channel, because I wasn't trying to build anything. It was just kind of like hey, you should do this thing. And then I was like, I guess I can. And so then I did. And then I forgot the idea that I had a YouTube channel. And then when I came back to it, it has something like 255,000 views. And I'm just like, what in the world is happening? And then I just got all of these notifications that I hadn't read. I remember the first thing that ever blew up on here was my "Don't Touch Yourself" audio. And I think I only remembered that I had a YouTube because I got an email notification from YouTube saying, oh, by the way, we're taking this video down because of sexual content. And then when I clicked into it, it had so many notifications, so many people were commenting. It was insanity. And then my aftercare audio just blew up as well. And I read some of the comments, and a lot of people understood where I went, because they were following me either from that video onto my Reddit. But at that point, I had already stopped posting, and some people were saying he would have said something on his YouTube if he was going to leave the community. And I was like, I was never part of the YouTube community. These were all just reposted audios from my Reddit, and I did a whole thing. If you followed the thread from YouTube to my Reddit, you would have seen that through all of this, I obtained a girlfriend. It started to become very strange for me to continue doing sex audios while having a girlfriend and talking and building a relationship. It felt very strange to comment back to people saying, wow, your voice is so sexy. It was strange. It was I don't know if you can understand how weird that entire concept is. But I wasn't gonna be that person. I also and my girlfriend was very understanding of the idea that I did these, because that's how we met. And I never thought that I would even do an audio entertaining the idea that I might come back. when I left the community, it was kind of like leaving a mechanic that, like when your car breaks down and like your mechanic fixes it, and you kind of do that. Well, I hope I never see you again. And then, like they tell you, like, you know what? I hope I never see you again either. Like, I hope, your life is great and, like everything goes well for you and I never see you again. That was kind of how I felt leaving the community. I was like, I hope I never do this again. I hope this is it. This was a fun while it lasted. It was great. It did a lot for me. I'm done. Right? I have the girlfriend. I'm gonna move to a different state. Like, my life is great. Right? And yet here I am making this video, making this audio. I'm posting it on my YouTube because I think that because YouTube obtained, I have so many subscribers to this channel, and I could go into this in another audio, and I have, if you listen to any of my AMAs, but doing audios on Reddit is the most popular I've ever been, and I've done a lot of different things in my life to become popular, and nothing in my life has ever made me more popular than doing audios. When I first started, they came from a very deep-seated place. I was incredibly lonely. I had just broken up with my previous girlfriend. COVID happened. A lot of different things happened in my life that I didn't have any cathartic release for. I wasn't really talking to anybody. I lost a lot of my friends. I lost a lot of different things that used to make me happy. And so I started to make audios, and I did them as cathartic releases for different things that I wasn't able to explain. Sorry about that. I started choking. My throat got really dry. So I did them as cathartic releases for my life and for, words left unsaid from my last relationship, and just as a person in general, questioning where I was in my own life and the loneliness that, came about when COVID happened, and just like a whole bunch of just different things that I've explained in some different audios, that I've explained in the descriptions of audios, and it helped. And it helped a lot because I was then able to build an entire community. And I had an entire group of followers, and I became more popular than I'd ever been in my life. And all of it was really, really great. And then through all of this, I found a girlfriend, and then, everything just in my life started to line up. And I'm dancing around saying it, but I think you guys already know that things didn't work out for me and my girlfriend, and so now I'm in a different state where I have no friends. I don't hang out with anybody. I don't talk to my old friends, not really. I moved to another state in order to build a life, and now that life is gone. And I'm trying to be optimistic about where I am. It took a number of months to move here and to adjust and to rebuy a lot of things that I had to just sell and throw away. So I obtained a job in the first month that I got here. Like I built a new life, and I've been living that life for like a year now. Maybe it's not even been a year, like since March. It hasn't even been a year. And in an instant, it's all gone. And there's a part of me that thinks that the easiest thing for me to do would be to make audios again. But there was another reason why I stopped making audios, and the reason was that I felt there was a part of me that felt uncreative. Whenever I made an audio, I wanted it to be for a purpose. If you go follow my Reddit and you look at my list of audios, there is a specific audio for a specific thing, and I wanted it to be like the best version of that thing. Like my aftercare audio, I wanted to make like a definitive aftercare audio. I didn't want to be like some ASMR YouTubers out there that where all of their audios start to kind of be the same thing. Like, this is me doing ear tingles. This is me doing ear tingles, but in the rain with like a rain background. This is me doing ear tingles, but like with a fire background. Like, I didn't want to just keep creating the same thing. It would make me feel stale. And whenever I wanted to do something, like I have a friend to lovers audio that I really liked because I was able to do, I was able to make a Taylor Swift reference, and I thought that was clever and funny. And I love Taylor Swift. And I only have like the one. And it was because I put a lot of thought into each of my audios. It wasn't just, a lot of them weren't just spur of the moment ideas. Some of them were, but I mean, like, that was part of my process. I really liked thinking about audios, and I really liked thinking about something, like adding something to the conversation, and creating like the best version of that thing. I'm hesitant to just say that I'm going to come back and make audios, but I am considering it. It's a thing. And I don't know, like, I think I'm making this audio specifically for my YouTube people, and I'll repost this on my Reddit. But I'm making this audio partially as a thank you that I've never said, because I never really thought that, you know, like me reposting my Reddit audios onto YouTube was ever going to be a real thing. Like, how do you even find these audios? And I didn't even make I didn't make thumbnails. I literally, like, the least amount of effort that you could possibly do for to upload a video on YouTube, that's what I did. And my God, that aftercare audio has so much had so much attraction. So I just wanted to say thank you. I wanted to say thank you for subscribing to me. And I know that this is probably going to show up in your news feed, and it's going to be like, who is this? But I don't know. I kind of wanted to get your feedback. Ultimately, I understand that it all just kind of depends on me. Because if everybody like flooded, you know, the comment section and was like, yeah, you have to do more audios, like, we want to see, you know, like, this will help you, right? Because it'll probably help me, in the same way that it helped me before. It helps me feel connected to something. I have started other YouTube channels, I've started other Instagrams, and I know that they're not going to obtain even a percentage of the traction that this obtained for me. But I like doing them because I like doing them. This is different. I always approached my audios, even though I understood that they were helping me and it was a cathartic way for me to deal with things that I wasn't talking about with friends or with family or with anybody. There was a part of me that also did audios to help somebody else. And my relationship just ended And essentially the reason that it ended was because I wasn't helping my ex. Where it essentially ended, she felt that I wasn't making her feel like she was worth it. And as a person that has always in my entire life wanted to make other people feel worth it, that was very hard for me to hear. It was very hard for me to accept the idea that I found somebody and I was willing to move to a different state, leave all of my friends, leave, like the family that I don't talk to, leave all of the fun things that I had, move to a different state, and at the end of the day, she still felt like I didn't make her feel like she was worth it. Whenever I made an audio, I didn't just make it for myself. I made it to theoretically help somebody else. There was like an audio that I did that was like for somebody that was a virgin, somebody who had never had sex before, and like what would that be like in a perfect scenario? Like how would I approach that? Like an inexperienced person. And I didn't do that for myself. I very specifically did that for somebody else. In the idea that like maybe that could help somebody else. And then when I heard that it did, and especially my aftercare audio, because I feel like when I was making Reddit audios, obviously like the sexually explicit ones were the ones that most people cared about. And I feel like my aftercare audio, like I specifically did because I was in a position where when I wanted aftercare from my previous ex and she didn't give it to me, I did that audio like specifically so that if somebody else was in that exact same position, they could listen to my audio and, like, I don't know, find some kind of cathartic release that, it could have been like this. Because that's what these all are. These are all dreams. These are all fantasies. But I think if it helps somebody, I think that it's worth doing. I read like an internet quote a long time ago, and it stated that if you only help one person in your life, that's good enough. And it's also good enough if that one person is you. There's a part of me that thinks that if I post audios again, like they're never going to be as good, right? They're never going to be as good as when I was doing this all the time, when it was like a full-time like thing for me, when I was like constantly trying to come up with audios and I had like a name for my fans and, like I was like living the dream, right? When I got to, like watch my subscriber count go from like 10 to 1,500, right? And I was having like milestone, like excitement. And, there's a part of me that, like wonders if this is going to feel desperate, like I'm just trying to look for attention. There's a part of me that wonders if the audios are going to be good enough. There's a part of me that wonders if anybody even cares if I make new audios, or, like I don't know. I guess I just wanted to make this to say that I'm thinking about it. And I don't have a definitive answer, and I don't have a definitive timeline. So I can't commit to anything right now. But at the very least, I did want to say thank you for subscribing to me, for listening to my audios, for loving my aftercare audio, for giving it the attention that it got. Because that really did mean a lot to me. And so I just wanted to say thank you. And I don't know, like, if you think that I should do this, and I never ask for comments. I'm not that kind of YouTuber. I don't know if you noticed, but I never said in any video, drop a link in the comment, drop a comment below. But specifically for this one, let me know what you guys think.